Deuteronomy 16, here we have the Deuteronomos, the second law. And in this giving of the law, Moses adds a few apparently little things, which might appear like hedges around the law. He says, for example, you must not plant for yourselves any kind of tree beside the altar of Yahweh your God. The Canaanite tribes used to worship Asherahs, that is, a grove of trees that were planted, and they liked to worship those trees. And of course they were not to do that, Israel were not to do that, and so God says, when you make an altar, don't plant trees near it. In other words, avoid any possible re-stimulation in your mind of idolatry. And he goes on, and don't set yourself up a standing pillar. Because the Canaanite tribes used to build pillars and fall down and worship them. So he says, don't make a pillar for any reason. Don't set up a standing stone for, I don't know, maybe just to memorialise the death of your father or your mother or whatever. Don't do that. Remember it some other way. In other words, remove all sources of temptation. Don't stimulate yourself, even potentially, into wrong thinking. Don't trigger negative thought processes. And part of growing to know God is growing to know yourself. Knowing that, yep, every time I see that, I think that. Well, don't look at that then. And keep that out of your field of vision. This is the idea. This is not legalism. This is sanctified common sense. This is recognizing that I am weak and I'm likely to slip into certain negative thought processes. Stop. I don't want to go that way. And so create for yourself a pure environment as far as you can. And that affects, of course, what you watch. It affects what you listen to. Do you have to listen to the radio all the time? Do you have to listen to the pop songs of this world? If you want to have a pure heart, you need to consciously try to create a pure environment around you. And that's, I think, the force of these commandments about don't plant any tree near an altar to God. Don't set up any kind of standing stone or pillar.